Professor Schippers, may I ask you some questions?
Yes, of course. What do you want to know, Rico?
Cognitive dissonance, the way I understand it, is that you would rationalize, so with your thinking process, something that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, basically what it is you have two cognitions that do not match. So for instance, I'm smoking, but I know it's bad for my health. And then I try to rationalize it. I think, oh, I have an uncle who became 81 smoking all of his life, like smoking like a chimney. And so he survived, so I will be fine. So that is trying to have these two cognitions that you know it's bad for your health and you're doing it, this behavior, and try to reconcile these two cognitions.
Relieve the pressure, get the pressure
So
off.
I always say basically what people are trying to do is getting cognitive consonance instead of dissonance. They are doing a cognitive dissonance reduction.
Oh, yeah.
So let me tell you a story. It's a really nice story. It came into being. Festinger was a researcher, a psychologist, who went undercover. He did a participative research with a sect. And so I think it is a couple of decades ago. And so he went to that sect and he became part of that sect. And so that sect thought that the world would end at a certain point in time. And some of the members even sold their belongings to make sure, and they would go to a mountain and there would be a pickup and they would be picked up by a UFO. And of course, as crazy as it may sound, they really believed that this was the case. So as this time point neared, they all went to that mountain and they sat and they had to wait until midnight for the UFO to pick them up. And then, of course, they waited and it was 12 o'clock in the night and nothing happened. So at midnight, no pickup from the UFO. And then the whole sect was in disarray. What are we going to do now? We sold all our belongings and we can't go back to society. And so there was a couple of hours of total disarray. And then the leader of the sect decided, she said, I have a message. What happened was that we did such a good job in praying that God has decided to save the earth, and so it's actually we saved the world. And so the members were happy, they did something good, they saved the world by praying, and so whereas beforehand they never sought out the press, afterwards they sought out the press and said, yeah, we did a good job in praying and that's why the earth was saved. So they really started to believe it because there was a cognitive dissonance here. They said the earth was going to end, and it didn't.
That didn't fall well with the media and the people around them.
No, I think a lot of people made fun of them, and some people may have believed them. I don't know how it ended with that sect, but what is interesting is that you see this a lot in society. People have different. So, for instance, they know that what they are doing doesn't contribute to health. Let's say the smoking doesn't. There's of course this big debate about mask wearing, for instance, that doesn't contribute to health, and may even harm health. But people say, hey, I'm doing this for the greater good. It helps other people, and we saved Granny with it.
And she's still alive, so it must
have
worked.
Yeah, I hope so.
So if I am in a state of cognitive dissonance, would I observe myself doing that? Would I feel it?
I think usually you would feel it. For instance, if you smoke and you read the package, it has these warnings on it, right? And then I know people who put it down like this because they don't want to read it. So you can ignore that feeling and go on with your behavior. You can also say, how can I change my behavior? So for instance, if you think, okay, I don't want to smoke, but all my colleagues smoke. When I was in school, actually, everybody was smoking and I was the only one in class not smoking. So then you have to make this decision. I didn't like it. I tried it and I didn't like it. I'm totally incapable of smoking.
Well, I'm no smoker, but my natural response would be, I don't like this image on this package that I bought, so go away with the image.
Yes.
I'll be the judge of smoking or not. It's my health.
Yeah, so you can also make that, do that. Or you can say, okay, it's my health. Do I want to work on my health? What is my decision? You can make a conscious decision to smoke. Why not?
Exactly.
It's allowed. It's not. So it's not a crime, but still you can make a different decision tomorrow. If you say, hey, I have a friend who smoked for a long while, and she says, okay, I want to stop. And some people will do that in different ways, but make a plan for yourself. What works for me? For some people it works to gradually stop. And if you, let's say, if you don't agree with mask wearing, you could say, okay, I don't wear it in the supermarket, I don't wear it here if it's obligatory. But these should be your own decisions to go against the tide. Or if everybody is smoking, I want to stop. How do I do that? How do I make sure you can stop gradually or you can stop overnight.
There's no adverse health effects for stopping with smoking. However, stopping with complying to certain policies, like you just mentioned with the masks, that might not work out for your health all too much.
It depends on if it's mandated or voluntary, and if it's voluntary, it's easier to make your own decision. So I would say these
Policies
measures
need
should
always be voluntary.
I would say so, yeah. And I think they did that in Sweden, and that worked out quite well for people.
So if I observe myself being cognitive dissonant, how would I step out of that?
That's a good question. I think you have to make a plan for yourself. What do you want? What do you want from life? What is important to you? So to use a smoking example again, you can say, hey, that's a habit that I want to discontinue. How do I discontinue it? So I devised a life crafting intervention where people can think about their ideal life if there are no constraints versus the life they will have if they don't change anything. So you can write about that, but it also asks you about habits you want to learn or unlearn, and specific habits. And these can also be like drug use, smoking, drinking, so everything that you think is a habit you want to change. And I don't want to talk about bad habits, but it's about a habit that you don't like yourself and you want to change within yourself. Because I have been working on my health also, and I have to change, but it takes about 3 or 4 weeks before you get used to a change. So for instance, if you want to eat oatmeal in the morning instead of croissants or, with sugars and everything else, then it takes a while. So don't beat yourself up if you don't change overnight. Just start gradually, like with once a week or twice a week, and then you do it 3 times a week. And then you don't do it for a week because it's a holiday. Why not? But then make sure to get back to that. So people have this called the what the hell effect or what the heck effect. When they change a habit, they feel they don't succeed, and then they're like, what the heck? So I'm reverting back to my old habit. Don't do that. It doesn't matter. Every day is a new day, and every day you can make a new beginning. So do that.
And habits that feel good aren't all that bad, maybe also.
Yeah, I don't know. What habit are you talking about?